want to check in on. This is what it's all about, folks. Not just about checking out the best, the ones that we already know that are typically top. It's about getting the opportunity to check out these upcomers, the next generation, the next pros coming through. And Kaiser Johan, I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do. Because as I mentioned, he is currently 35th in the world in the ranked leaderboards with 185 games played, 62% win rate. On top of that, like quick match, he's 13th in the world with 362 games. This guy's pretty competent. And it looks like he plays a decent amount of English. He isn't just an English spammer, though. He mixes it up. A lot of HR in here, Mongols as well as the English. So it seems like he has 3 civs he prioritizes right now. A little bit of French in there as well. It's not a bad idea to like prioritize 3 civs when you're starting out, trying to get competitive, just because it's enough that if you start playing into the pro scene, you will have enough civs to win through to at least the best of 5. Obviously, at that stage, you'll start to suffer a little, but like BO3s, actually, even BO5s, like if you're that good at the first 3 civs, you can still win them. Obviously, isn't going to get you grand final wins, though. But hopefully, we'll see this guy sign up. I don't know if I've seen his name so far in the Road to Wall, but fingers crossed. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing some new names. I just keep, every time we're like broadcasting, I keep reminding people, like, if you think you've got a shot, if you think you've got some skill, you know, remember that the Road to Wall is long, but it's also free to sign up. There's no blockage. Doesn't matter what your rank is. You can actually sign up. You can try to contest, see if you can improve. And you know, some people, they feel like they could be a lot better player if they actually had access to the best to play against, and that's actually your golden opportunity. Who knows? Maybe you could be the guy that beats Beastie on day 1 in the best of 1 round and has a giant Reddit thread made about him. Only one way to find out. We'll have to see if we see Johan tomorrow here. But we'll check him out today. It's going to be Kazvez up against a French-English matchup, and the colors are all wrong, and it just makes me sick inside. Ugh. Unacceptable. Let's see how Kazva wants to play this. Now, Kazva is a little bit more traditionalist with like his knight push into maybe like an extra TC layer. He's not one of these players that typically just goes all in on secondary TC without any aggressive units, especially when he's up against a civ like the English. I'm not expecting any outpost shenanigans. The French are one of the least beneficial civs to do this with. As they're such a good civ at controlling midfield and diving in already, you don't really need to oppress your opponent on the wood supplies and the gold lines. And I think that's the thing to emphasize here. Like, some people, they're kind of wondering why, like, with most civs actually engaging in outpost rushing, why is it the French stay away? And it's simply because other civs need it. Other civs can't dive the enemy base and extract value by killing villagers. They rely on the outpost to block resources to slow down the economy. The cool thing about the French is your Royal Knights are so disgustingly powerful in the early game that once you get the blacksmith upgrade, which is free, by the way, you just build the blacksmith, they are able to 2-hit villages without textiles. I think that's what Kazva should be playing for here. Looks like he's gone early into the wheelbarrow, very early, in fact. Interesting choice here. So most people tend to get enough resources for feudal, and then as soon as they start building up, they get wheelbarrow in the build-up. But instead, Kazva's gone fully delayed on his feudal to ensure that he had wheelbarrow instantly. We'll see if it pays off. We are, of course, going to see wheelbarrow on the other side. You're the English. It just makes sense. And those small details like this, notice where he puts his mill. He pushes it behind his TC slightly into the choke point. You're up against the French, remember. So you want to try and keep your farms away from the front line. It's small details, but it definitely does add up. And he starts building his houses on the front, which is a more interesting choice here. Looks like Kaiser is going to be delayed in comparison to even start building up. This means that Kazva should have 2 knights in the field before feudal is reached for Kaiser. Especially with the gather rate for Kazva right now. It looks like he slowed down the gold entirely. Whoa, hold up. No gold gains. Kazva looks like he's going for a different build. This might not be the instant knight pull. Is he going Horseman? Horseman seems very risky on limited resources on high views, high ground. But he can play pocket ecos. The alternative is he's thinking about going straight into the mining camp afterwards. Like, 5 people building this up, but not enough gold to get the first knight is a very weird build out of Kazva. The only other reason you want to unlock feudal this quick is to get your TC. But like, even with that build, surely you delay your feudal up so you've got people gathering on stone to begin with. And yeah, instead it's going to be the horseman. So it looks like he's going to play hard on the horse. A very differing choice here, especially considering like, what is your justification for this? You're up against the English. This is a civ that doesn't typically build into pro scouts, so you're not going to be able to snipe value there. And also, even if they go Lombos, note that they tend to accompany it with a 50-50 ratio of spears these days. So overall, like, Kazva making this choice is very peculiar, considering he doesn't have any information to justify it. Now, if he stops at 2 horsemen, it's not too bad, in that he can block out vision and chase away. My only thought process is he's doing double horsemen to kill the scouts. This is actually someone that we talked about in the past. That this is why I think horsemen are like one of the highest value units in the early game. Not just this, there's loads of things. But like, there is no other unit in Age of Empires 4 at this stage in the game that can so freely block information off their opponents due to their ability to chase scouts. They are faster than scouts, and you can see that effect coming in now. As he pushes him across map back to his base, and I think the intention here is double horseman into block scout vision and then on to secondary TC. He's on the patrol right now. He only pushed back 1 scout. Second one has now retreated away. A few archers coming out. No defensive Lombos. Remember, Kaiser Johan is going for that second TC build. Kazva, is he now reacting to that and going full feudal rush? Oh, he is. I think he's going ram rush. Damn, that's going to be vicious. The timing is going to be vicious as well, because look what Kaiser Johan's at. He's almost got the required quantity for the TC. And he has no defense force to speak of. A spearman and a longbowman is not going to keep this at bay. The archer pull starting to make their way towards the front line. No siege engineering coming out just yet. No pull onto the stone. This is definitely a fall-in feudal. Kaz are probably looking to group up to, say, 20 to 25 archers. And now, because he gets confirmation this is a good play off of the TC, it's going to be pretty impactful. Because keep in mind that this is 700 resources invested in a secondary town center that should be invested in this situation in defense forces. That's several longbowmen. On top of that, you then have a higher strain in your food department to build additional villages when you will need to build additional lombos. Guys, well, circling like a shark right now. He has got full vision on this. He spots it out. He wrapped around earlier. That should have got the info with the scout. So he should know about this town center. More villagers now going on the gold. This is just a prep for the siege engineering. He needs the gold to get the research. There's nothing about this that says we're going to push knights now. Instead, it's going to be doubling down the archers and backing up with horsemen as your front line. A front line that can choose when it fights, which is actually a pretty big deal. Johan, he's starting to stack up some defense. Needs to be faster than this, though. Kazva is hiding the strength of his hand right now. He doesn't want to reveal it until he's at the mass to push in. Like, by the time he reveals how big his force is, he wants to be building the ram. He's moving in now. Johan is very hesitant to go out too far. He knows the horseman can chase down fast here. In fact, his hesitation means he doesn't see just how many archers are here. Kazva will go into the Iron Undermesh first. Gets the ranged armor because he's playing against the English with the lombos and the double fire from the town centers. Not to mention the villagers when they start attacking, like actually by having Iron Undermesh. Even if you had 0 range resistance, you've just reduced the damage of villagers by 20% each. Kazva will queue it up afterwards. So siege engineering, we're just 1 minute and 30 seconds out from rams being possible. Kazva now goes onto the stone. Okay, this delay is going to be hectic. Kaiser Johan will watch this game back, and he's probably going to struggle to process it. And it's not because he's a bad player. He's ranked 35th. He's pretty tolerant. He's pretty competent, rather. The problem is that you are not expecting both rams and boom up. And also, Johan, because of the state of affairs, like he's less likely to scout this out. He spots it. And if it wasn't for the fact you could click on stone outcropping, it could be easy for Johan to think this is a tower rush, but now he knows. And that is important. Folks, this is exactly why scouting is critical, because Johan now has the most important information that Kazva is feigning this. If he commits entirely into the stone, if he continues to grow in towards a TC, he's not fully investing into military right now. And it means he's going to be slow reaching critical mass. It's going to give more time for Johan to buffer his defenses. What? Wait. Did he dive with a Did I miss something? I swear I didn't see the troops go in there. They didn't go in, right? Did he? But why would he delete it? What? Why would you? Kaiser Johan just deleted his own TC. What is this game? It's not even hidden. He hasn't built anything over it. Oh my god. Maybe he wants. Okay, so Caleb's making a fair point that maybe he wanted to delete the mining camp. I can't think of any other like. Even if you were trying to hide that you went 2 TC so you look stronger, which is just dumb at this point, you would build something over it. Oh my god. Bleach my eyeballs and flush my brain down the toilet. I want to forget this game. Oh my god. And the crazy part is, like, why would you even want to delete the mining camp? There's no reason to here. There's literally no reason to delete the mining camp. It doesn't do anything. Maybe he wanted to delete it before he built it. Jesus, but that makes it even worse. There's even less reason to be building a mining camp after you have a TC. Nothing about this makes sense. Literally nothing about this makes sense. Same with the lumber camp. Like I like people trying to give like justification. Maybe it's the lumber camp instead. But like I don't think you really care about this lumber camp right now. It's not really in your way at all. And instead, Kaiser Johan, he'll build the King's Pass here, and he'll say, Pigeon, this is our dirty little secret. We never talk about it. It never happens. I definitely didn't invest in a town center. It's all in your imagination, you bat crap crazy bird. I am perplexed. Yeah, maybe this is the mind games. Maybe Kazra is thrown off by this. He's like, where did the TC go? What has he done? Oh my god, is he playing the Mongols? Can he pack up his town set? No, I'm going to stop now. I'm just going to stop. This is a complete and utter cluster duck. And Johan will make his way up, while Kazra makes his way in. Rams, they came here for a town center, and thankfully, due to Kaiser Johan building the King's Pass on this location, they will find one. It looks very different to the one we saw before, though. Kazra marching in. Archers trading underneath the TC fire and the King's Pass. A lot of damage coming their way. Kazra throwing away his army. But what for here? Slow into the secondary TC. Rams moving in on the King's Pass now. Needs to target it out. Long moment count. Being shortchanged down to 16 right now. Rams should get a decent amount of damage done here. The village is being pulled fast across. The garrison inside. Increase the damage output. Just a few horsemen remaining. The Rams might be able to delete the King's Pass. But folks, this would have been better value against the town center. A town center, this would have been a kill. And it wouldn't be coming back. But because it's a King's Pass, it will be rebuilt. All I can say is if Kaiser Johan wins this game now, and Kazva noticed this, I wouldn't blame Kazva for signing off for the evening. Being like, that's it, boys. There's nothing more I want to say or see here. He'd be fully within his right. Oh my god, this game. It's like last the Rams is going to be cleaned up. Kazva now going for that second TC, heavily delayed though. Is it going to be 3 TCs? No, I might have to wait a few minutes for the amount of stone he's gathering. Hasn't looked to boom up either, hasn't transitioned to farms. Kazva may have jumped the gun, jumping into the English base like that. That being said, Johan, notably behind now. It is only 2 TCs versus 2. Oh god, he doesn't have the wood. All right. Kaiser's in the... Kaiser's fluffed it. Kazra is in the driver's seat right now. Let Papa get behind the wheel. Because now he can boom up fast off the back of this. He's setting up the farms. He has plenty of wood to do so, as he had plenty in reserve. This will be a fast castle after that. Not the quickest time in overall in the game, but fast recovery castle off the back of this. He's done enough damage. He sniped out enough villages. He forced enough idle time. that even with this tech up advantage, Johan is still in a perpetual state of rebuild. I find that does happen after you invest 700 resources and then delete it. Did you hear that scout screaming? If I had to translate that, that was, what the hell did I just witness my master do for 50 minutes? Sorry, I had to exacerbate my voice there, as the scout did. And even this monastery play doesn't make sense for Johan. Johan's now full defensive. Like these... So these monks are actually very pricey for the size of his eco right now, at 150 gold a pop after 200 wood investment. You're playing against France. France that is now building outposts, playing towards boars, but more importantly is going to be playing towards cavalry in the midfield. Kasva looks like he's ready to go up. Guildhall. Infinite scalability. He's very comfortable in this game. Doesn't feel like he needs to go for the one-up with the Royal Institute. And understandably so. Johan, he's always going to lag behind the villager department by at least 20 unless he can snipe out some eco of Kasva's. And, well, the problem is Johan is full turtle mode right now. Like, everything he's doing is to not get out of his base. He's going to try to switch that up now with the stable play. Stables are very hard to maintain with such a small eco in comparison to the French, and it is going to leave you discounted heavily.
Good swinker, be mate. What needeth beyond intendeth fracas. Building done.
You see, he really wants that first relic. Maybe he gets one for free, but I think that's going to be it. In fact, Kaz, after his tech up, could just immediately pivot into a monastery himself. He's in very good position to do so. His eco is a lot more insulated against any sort of wear and tear, any sort of clash of arms. You can see it on the numbers as well. Kasva almost doubling up the English in the food. Yes, you did just hear me say that. It's not often you say that in the English-French matchup, but here, anything is possible. I find anything is possible when people mistake their delete key for one of the hotkeys on their groups, I guess. Control groups, maybe? I'm not sure how you really mistake del for one. They are on opposite sides of the keyboard, but it's hard to think of any other reason why this exactly happened. Even if you were trying to delete the lumber camps, which really didn't matter. You see Kaz is just going to buy time. Get the upgrades first before engaging. Military counts more or less neck and neck. Keep in mind that Johan never upgraded those Lombos. And it's kind of weirding me out, because instead he's investing in the Knights, but he has enough gold to get that upgrade. For some reason, nope. Oh dear. Walls will at least go up. Now, the problem with the way that Johan is playing this is if he plans to just sit in his base, he's just going to lose the game slower. He can't just be on the defensive now. I know he's in recovery, but this is where the Knights need to move out and raid. Right now, like the Knights, they're not exactly raiding. They're playing midfield. He's playing for relic control, and realistically, he should be using these to dive into Kasva's base. Kasva, who, by the way, does at least have textiles, but if you catch him away from his base a little, which you can see on these pocket ecos, you could actually hemorrhage him on the eco count substantially. Lick it. Lick the relic. At least say you touched it. Look how close he is. Like, oh, I could just reach out and touch it, and at least half my job would... No. Oof. I actually feel bad observing these elements. It's like, because Johan's he's a 35 rank player, and he made a mistake. But like now, it's just compounded. And these monks getting sniped out so cheaply is just like a small layer to this problem. But it does escalate. It does exacerbate the issue. You have to think like logically, every monk going down is 1.5 knights that you could build. Obviously you need the food as well, but food's what you can afford a lot of. I think Kasva's just going to build up to PopCap and go. He might even go sooner. Like, the Knights can dive in on their own. Right now, he's contesting over the relics. Doesn't want to give them over for free. Remember, Monastery was placed by Kasva as well. The problem with Johan is because he played condensed space, look what Kasva has done to the vision on this map. He's ripped out a new one. He sees everything. Every single attempted move that Johan wants to make is under the vision of Kasva. It's under his visage. Now, Polo. Ambitious to say the least. Knights trading out poorly. Long moment at the back of the formation. A few of them are going to go down. Blocks off an additional Knight. And, small details like this, compounding issue. Replacing these troops is still demanding for Johan. Now Kasva doubling him up in the military count. Still keeping over a 20-point lead. Remember, he'll actually accelerate this further because it's every 16 seconds that the French build a villager in Castle Age. English are locked at that 20 seconds mark. Second wave coming in. Kasva reaching a point where he doesn't just have to group all his troops together. This branch out attack, this two-pronged assault, it's going to stretch Johan Finn. Called a Lasto man after this one. He'll feel that way. Bad news for him is Kasva is a racer man, as it looks like he's just going to smudge him off the map here. Pushes him back. Just as he's setting up new farmlands, they're going to be shut down. The crossbow push is too slow and too small. Archers reaching in, sniping out several villagers, Knights as well. Johan, just as soon as he thought he'd recovered his eco, it's once again disarray. Because now Kasva with almost a 40 villager advantage. At least he wins the left fight. I mean, I'm sorry, I wasn't even meant to be sarcastic, but it feels that way. And this keep, looks like Kasva will not spot it, but the bad news about this keep, folks, is it doesn't protect anything. Kasva doesn't need to care about the west side. That was the distraction force. He'll just wrap around the east here, and he'll shut down all your farms. And without farms, the English are nothing. If there is one thing I know we love in life, it's good old Wait. It's our farming. And he is a zero farmer boy. I wouldn't really even call him English at this point. Feels like maybe he's more of a, I don't know, one of those maybe modern city dwellers. Not really toiling his arse off out in the fields. Not really living the life of an Englishman. Don't hold that thought. The life of an Englishman is one of perpetual war with the French. They re-engage. More eco shut down though. And Johan, 69 feels appropriate because he's getting shafted in this one. Archers just continue to snipe out. Johan can't afford the gaps in his eco. He's going to afford the gaps in his villager count. Several more sniped down. He refuses to wave the white flag, but like realistically, folks, this game is over. There's no way for him to recover this unless Kasva misclicks and throws his army underneath the keep. He'll just stay here forever. Because the way you set up your farms, this keep does nothing. If you had half the farms on the left side and half on the right, maybe you delay the assault. But this is completely ineffective. And too easy for Kasva to just body non-stop. And credit to him. I think the only thing we'll remember out of this one is going to be whatever the hell that town center was. But that shouldn't discredit what Kasva done here. An interesting approach to the delayed TC. Experiment might need further attempts considering the slight variable of town center equal delete key that made this one maybe a little bit too easy for him to win.